Hello there, all you humans. This is the Cyber Leader speaking. I have took over this YouTube channel to talk about and rank every Cyberman episode from Doctor Who. No cameos, just pure Cyberman episodes. Stories that have appeared with the Cyber race, as we are supreme against you primitive human life forms. Now, enjoy the video.
Hello there, amazing viewers and subscribers, and welcome to a brand new exciting Doctor Who ranking video for today. So for this video, we're going to be ranking every single Cyberman episode / story that have appeared with the Cybermen. No cameo stories, so no stories like the Pandorica opens, no stories like when a good man goes to war, or basically cameo appearances like in Face the Raven and Heaven and Hell Bent. So it's just pure Cyberman episodes, stories that have had the Cybermen in it. So at the moment, we have got 19 Cybermen episodes for me to rank. So there are stories where the Cybermen do team up with other villains, like the Master and stuff, so that isn't going to be included because they are classed as Cyberman episodes. So as you can see, as for the beginning of the video, I have literally been joined by a Cyberhead who decided to take over me to make that intro. So hopefully you do enjoy this video, and let's dive into how I rank the Cyberman stories. So right at the bottom in 19th place, we have Closing Time from season 32, aka series 6. This is definitely my least favourite Cyberman episode. Now, it does have a good thing about it, which is basically the return of the Cybermats. But the Cybermen are easily defeated by love, because Craig is being in the middle of converted, and basically he has to go and rescue his son from the Cybermen. So really, that is just one little nitpick about it. Just one little nitpick that really bugs the hell out of me about the episode, about basically Craig destroys the Cybermen with love for his son. But the Cybermen are damaged. The fact this whole cyber ship has basically crash landed into the Earth Cure underneath this whole shopping centre. Now, basically, I actually thought this was going to be a little bit of a prequel to the invasion. So basically, we see Cybermen left over from the invasion in the cyber ship. But no, it's basically just a random Cyberman story of Cybermen basically coming out of the spaceship, climbing up to the shop to try and assimilate people. Yeah, not a great episode for Doctor Who. Definitely my least favourite Cyberman story because the Cybermen are so wasted in this episode. Next on the list, we have basically Nightmare in Silver in 18th place. So this was actually going to be a good Cyberman story, but basically it's my second least worst episode for the Cybermen. So why is that? So the Cybermen can now take their heads off like robots and basically go fast forward stupid thing where they go like running and literally go kidnapping children and stuff, and they can run and zoom. Not an actual proper Cyberman. I prefer this is the thing about modern Doctor Who. They do so much rubbish with the Cybermen. It's why I prefer Classic Who, because the Cybermen are handled in Classic Who so much better than the modern era of the show. But yeah, this Cyberman story, not really good. Not really good. The only good thing about it is the Cyber planet infecting the Doctor's brain, and of course making him become Mr. Clever. Apart from that, the rest of the episode is basically just a load of bull. And I'm sorry to say it is literally just a load of bull and not the best Cyberman episode. 17th place, it is The Next Doctor. I don't really care for The Next Doctor. Is it a good Cyberman episode? No. What did the Cybermen do in it? Not a lot, really. They're just basically trapped in Victorian London, basically go around converting little people so they can actually have a whole bunch of children to try and work the Cyber King. Yeah, it's not a great episode. The Cyber Shears, oh my god, what the hell was Russell T Davies thinking with the Cyber Shears? They're not a good design. Part cat, part dog, part sheep or whatever, converting with a Cyberman head, aka a Victorian kind of headpiece for the Cybermen. Not a great episode, really ain't. So basically we are literally at the bottom, and of course it is Modern Who, so you can basically think Classic Who's more high up, and it definitely is. In 16th place we have Association of the Cybermen and the Timeless Children. Now this, I was going to separate this, but because it's a two-parter, I can't really separate it. So, Association of the Cybermen, It's a brilliant episode. I actually quite enjoyed it because the Cybermen are spooky, they are scary, they are fantastic. I really like the Cyber Warriors. I really like Ashad. But the reason they're literally in 16th place is because of the whole Timeless Children arc. So the Cybermen basically go to Gallifrey at the Master's request. He then kills Astrid and get the Siberian out of him. And then basically converts all the dead Time Lords into Cybermasters. What the hell have they done? The Cybermen basically become a second fiddle. So we have all that build-up with the Cybermen in part 1 in Social of the Cybermen. We have all that build-up basically with the last human colony being invaded by Cybermen. The Doctor's there trying to stop them. And of course, basically, she gets separated from Yaz and Graham. And of course, she's there with Ryan. And of course, they get to the boundary. And of course, Gallifrey appears. And the Master just appears out of the boundary. And then basically just become a second fiddle to the Master. And the whole point of the Timeless Children. I did used to love Assertion of Cybermen. But considering that it is connected to the Timeless Children, I have to put it this way. I really do, and I'm sorry to say that. It doesn't matter to me about the whole Timeless Child arc. It just bugs me that the fact that Cybermen become a second fiddle to the Master once again. And that's the thing that really bugs me. It just bugs me that so much that the Cybermen basically are their own bad guys. They are literally on the same standard as they were when they returned in 2006 in season 27. And then basically for season 38, for them to become more of a second fiddle to the Master once again. Oh, God. And it's not even like it's Michelle Gomez, because Michelle Gomez really did it so well. But the fact... it just does me head in. It really does. And I'm sorry to say that. So, yeah. 16th place, Association of the Cybermen. In 15th place, we have a classic Doctor Who story, a.k.a. The Wheel in Space. Did I enjoy The Wheel in Space? Yes, I did. I actually do quite enjoy it over some majority of modern Who. But basically, I do enjoy other stories over The Wheel in Space, but the Cybermen are actually quite good. I love the fact when you have them with the Cyberhead going, "You know our ways, you must be destroyed." I absolutely do like the Cybermen's design. The fact it's basically a crossbreed between the Tomb and the Moon-based versions, and basically you can see the evolution into the Invasion Cybermen. But basically, the story plot, because it's a missing story and the telesnap reconstruction, even though I have watched the telesnap reconstruction, I kind of want the story to be animated so I can put it a bit more higher. Going by the telesnap recon, the pictures are okay, but it's like listening to the soundtrack, which I did enjoy, and I do have it on CD, The Wheel in Space, basically, so I do need to re-listen to it. But yeah, you know what? It's a good story, but my least favourite story from the 60s. And I have to put it a bit lower in 15th place because there are just other great Cybermen stories above them. I really have to say. In 14th place, we have Army of Ghosts and Doomsday. So basically, this is a bit low because it's from season 28, aka series 2. But it's nothing to do, basically, it's from that season. It is a good finale. I love the fact we've got the ghost. I love the fact the Cybermen are the actual ghosts, converting from out their own parallel universe into our universe by basically cracking through the void. And then basically just have them become a second fiddle to the Daleks, basically part of Doomsday, where you kind of got the Cybermen and the Daleks having banter, then of course you got the Genesis arc open, and basically got a Cyber-Dalek war. I want more Daleks and Cyber wars. I would love to see a fantastic story set in the middle between a Cyber and Dalek war. This is their very first meetup in Doctor Who, and basically it works so much. The fact it is literally in 14th place is because it's carried on basically by Rose's last story. It really takes the mick out of it a little bit, having basically set up with it with Rose being on Badwell Beach saying, "This is the story how I died," and it's just like, it's a Simon episode. It's actually quite good, and it's a Dalek episode. But the fact really, after the Simon and the Daleks get sucked into the void, the Doctor spends basically the majority of the last final couple of minutes, 10 minutes of the episode trying to say goodbye to Rose and burn up her son to say goodbye. Yeah, but it's actually quite a good Simon episode. So yeah, it is basically in 14th place, but I do enjoy it over The Wheel in Space just because of the Dalek and Cyber war. I want more. I really do want more. In 13th place, we have Rise of the Cybermen and, of course, The Age of Steel. Now, this is basically my second favourite Cyberman story. I really have to admit, it is basically my second favourite. Because, wow, my third favourite, sorry. My third favourite. So yeah, in third place, so basically it is technically Russell Summon Energy Still. I love the whole parallel universe setting. It is a great episode. The fact we are not having something from our own universe, and the fact that basically in a whole new universe, because the ties fell through the void into nothingness and into a parallel dimension universe. I love the fact we have John Luke creating the Cybermen instead of them being created by Mondas, because John Luke is dying. He's trying to find a way to survive. I absolutely love him. I really do love this story. It's just brilliant. It's great. It's fantastic. I really love the fact John Luke becomes the cyber controller. I really like the fact we have a Cyberman with an actual brain in him. It's the very first time we actually see a Cyberman with a human brain inside the actual casing being shown in a glass, in a glass dome sort of thing. Yeah, I absolutely love it. It's brilliant, fantastic, and absolutely fantastic and absolutely perfect. In 13th place, we have the power of the Doctor. So the Daleks and the Cybermen team up with the Master. Yeah, the thing about this episode, it is good for Jodie. It's a really good regeneration story. I absolutely love it. But the Cybermen do become more of a fiddle to the Master. But I do like this over Association of the Cybermen and, of course, basically the Timeless Children, because again it has a purpose, not basically the Cybermen becoming a bit sidelined. The fact the Cybermen are helping the Master to kidnap the entire whole entities and train it to the planet and basically have the Master's TARDIS stuck inside it is actually quite good. So yeah, I do love this story and I do like the Cybermen in this episode. In 12th place we have we have Dark Water and Death in Heaven. This is the finale to Series 8, Season 34. And is it good? Yes, this is where basically the Cybermen do team up with the Master for the first time in modern Doctor Who, before it's been done 3 more times afterwards. Does it do much? Yes, because you do have the whole build-up with basically the human race being converted into Cybermen when they die, and basically Cybermen from cyberspace by using Gallifreyan tech. It's just brilliant. Honestly, it's just a brilliant idea, and I do love Michelle Gomez because she does make me laugh, and she's had a good performance as the Master. I really do like basically the Cybermen in this story because, one, it's the return of the Cybermen from Nightmare in Silver, but they have an upgrade. They actually have a gun on their actual arms. Now, the guns were added into the Time of the Doctor, but I can't really include Time of the Doctor as a Cybermen episode because they are in it like for a couple of scenes before basically the Daleks take over. And yeah, I do enjoy Dark Water and Death in Heaven. It's definitely a good episode. I do like Capaldi. Again, the fact really that someone just basically to give the Doctor a gift kind of bugs me a little bit, but that's more than Who for you. They don't really know what to do with the Cybermen after a while, do they? Yeah. In basically 11th place, we have Silver Nemesis. Silver Nemesis, it is the last story with the Cybermen from 1980s, and of course it's the last classic Doctor Who story with the Cybermen. So the fact the Doctor kind of does the same thing to the Cybermen what he did to the Daleks to turn Skyrosun into a supernova, but instead he programs the Silver Nemesis to crash into the cyber fleet, while basically the Cybermen end up having their asses kicked on Earth by Ace flicking little gold dust into the cyber chest units. But I do like the Cybermen. I do like the design. The chrome design of the Cybermen are absolutely perfect, and I absolutely love it. It's just brilliant. It's a great story. Absolutely perfect. I can't find a fault with it. I know some people do, but if you try and point a fault at me, please let me know what's the point of Silver Nemesis. What's the actual... What are you trying to make? What is it that you don't like about the story? Because I absolutely genuinely love it. In 10th place, we have The Haunting of Villa Doty. Yes, The Haunting of Villa Doty. It is the Cybermen's return basically since Series 10. And we don't have any Cybermen apart from one, Asher, the lone Cyberman. And of course, he's travelled through back in time to try and capture the Cyberium. And of course, basically, it has the famous writer, can't remember his name, it's been a while since I watched it. It actually is on the same level as Dalek. So the fact that Dalek in basically season 27 for Christopher Eccleston, the fact this basically shows how menacing one Cyberman can do. Actually, one halfly converted Cyberman because it has half a human face. It's actually quite good to see how much menacing one Cyberman can do. And it's absolutely brilliant. I love the horror setting. It's definitely a good story to watch around about Halloween time as well. It's absolutely brilliant. I absolutely love it. In 9th place, we have the very first ever Cyberman story, the AKA The 10th Planet. I absolutely love The 10th Planet. It's a good story. Again, I love the cyberface. Sorry, I called Cyberman. Cyberman. You're Cyberman. I really love the robotic voice, the fact they have human hands instead of machinery hands. So the fact they're literally like part human but kind of different, it's actually quite iconic. It's a really good look for him. I really like the Cybermen. Feelings. Emotion, love, pride, hate, fear. Do you have no emotions, my dear sir? I really love this. I really love the 10th planet. It's just a great Cyberman story. The fact we see the Cybermen's original home planet get destroyed because basically it's trying to drain the Earth's energy, but basically it drains too much of the Earth and basically drains it back into the Earth and basically it gets ripped apart. So the Doctor doesn't really have nothing to do in this scene because, one, this is William Hartnell's final story, and you can tell William Hartnell's health is going a little bit downhill in a couple of episodes prior to this one. So it is a good Cyberman story. The great debut of the Cybermen. I absolutely love it. It's just brilliant. I absolutely love it. It's got some iconic moments. In 8th place, we have Revenge of the Cybermen. This is Tom Baker's only story with the Cybermen apart from Return to Taros in Big Finish. But I can't really include Big Finish in this ranking list because it means I have to include other ones and the list will be massively long. The Revenge of the Cybermen, what can I say about it? Well, I absolutely love it. So it's set after the Cyber and Earth War. And of course, we have Planet Voga in this one, the Planet of Gold, which basically helped the humans win against the Cybermen. So the Cybermen are back to try and destroy Voga because they want to basically reignite the war with the humans. And of course, we do see the return of Cybermats. We have Calvin, who we think is working with the Cybermen, but he's actually working with the Vogans. I do like some in this episode. I like the Cyber Leader. It's the very first time we actually see a Cyber Leader. He's very, very different Cyberman. This one has emotions. He does show a lot of the Cybermen's emotions in the story, but the other Cyber units are actually quite good. So I can't find fault with the Cyber units, but the Cyber Leader, yeah, it's very, very basically emotionless. But I do love the story. I do love the setting set on Nether Beacon. It's a great story, absolutely perfect. So if you haven't seen Revenge of the Cybermen, you can actually buy it now in Doctor Who DVD box set with Silver Nemesis or as part of Doctor Who The Collection Season 12. And you can buy it in the standard release as it's hard to get the limited edition release, but they did re-release it back in October last year. So hopefully you can pick it up in HMV still, if they haven't sold out. So yeah, I do have to say that one. So yeah, in 8th place we have Revenge of the Cybermen. In basically 7th place, we have the Moon Base. Patrick Troughton's it's Patrick Troughton's 3rd story as the 2nd Doctor, and of course, it's the 5th story with the Cybermen, considering that Patrick Troughton encounters them 4 times over. The Moon Base is just a brilliant story. I love the fact, really, you got the Cybermen trying to get hold of weather control from the humans and basically try to destroy Earth that way. And of course, the Doctor basically does defeat them by reflecting the gravity of the moon and sends them flinging into space. And of course, I absolutely love it. So the Cybermen are basically kidnapping humans, converting them after basically infecting them with some dangerous kind of addict in the sugar. I really love the Cybermen go, did that chicken here? What? Did that chicken here? And of course, when you see summoning, the Doctor just goes like that, bah, 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 and then all of a sudden a Cyberman comes shooting up from the hospital bed. Perfect. Just perfect, and a brilliant episode, and absolutely brilliant. I absolutely love it. And that's number 7. In number 6, we have the 5 Doctors. So the 5 Doctors, it's mainly a multi-Doctor story, but the Cybermen have more to do in this story than basically anybody else. So saying that, even though this story features the return of the Yeti, the Dalek, and the Master, the Cybermen have more to do than any of the 3. I mean, the Master's just basically there, and he teams up the Cybermen to betray the Cyberman and basically to try and get immortality for himself. But really, the Cybermen have more to do because basically as you see them, they try blowing up the TARDIS, they try going towards the Tower of Rassilon, and of course, basically they want the Master to show them the safe way until the Master betrays on them. I really like the Cybermen in the story, and it's absolutely brilliant. And of course, David Banks is just perfect as the Cyber Leader once again. I really do like the Cybermen in the 5 Doctors. Number 5. So in 5th place, we have my 5th favourite Cyberman episode, aka story. It is the Tomb of the Cybermen. So we go to the planet Taros, the adoptive home planet of the Cybermen, where I've created a brand new cyber base. And of course, this story, base of the planet Taros, does make a return in a far up story, which is basically in Attack of the Cybermen. So that's a bit later on because Taros does return. And this story introduces us to the Cyber Controller for the very first time. So far in Doctor Who history, we have 2 Cyber Controllers. We've got the one that we see in Tomb / basically the Attack of the Cybermen. And of course, we have one from Rise of the Cybermen and Age of Steel. I think it's about time we see another Cyber Controller in Doctor Who, don't you think? Another Cyber Control. Yeah, but I really like the Cyber Controller in this one. I love the story. This is the very first story that debuts the Cybermats as well as the Cyber Controller. My favourite scene is when they're literally coming out of the ice tombs and that music comes out where it goes do 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 do. You will become like us. I love the fact the cyber thing literally just flips open. I do love it. I really love it. It's a fantastic story. It really is. Number 4, and we have my all-time favourite modern Doctor Who episode for the Cybermen. It is World Nothing Time and the Doctor Falls. Why? Because this is where the Cybermen don't really become a fiddle to the Master. The Master becomes a fiddle to the Cybermen. So really we go to a Mondasian spaceship, basically just before the creation of the Cybermen, and basically Bill is the very first Cyberman out of the cyber factories. But the fact basically the Cybermen are being created by the Master, played by John Sim, and of course Michelle Gormas as Missy, the female version of the Master. And of course, they thinking they're winning because they think the Cybermen will listen to them because they're only primitive. But no, thanks to the Doctor updating the database for going from 1 heart to 2 heart, they literally get added to the menu, which is something I find so good. The fact the Master doesn't know what to do, and the fact the Master's there saying, "There's Cybermen we can defeat, not with that many. You know, there's only one person who has defeated that many Cybermen, and that's me. Now let me go." I really love the fact how the Master panics. You see the 2 versions of the Master just panic because the Cybermen are turning against them, which is something I love about the Cybermen, because 1, we got the return of the Mondasian Cybermen, we have the RTD Cybermen, we got the Moffat Cybermen. I really would love to see an evolution of the Cybermen, so we could have gone from the 10th planet ones up to the moon base / tomb, go straight to the wheel in space. I would love to have a digress of the Cybermen going up and have all of the Cybermen from Classic Who, but unfortunately we didn't. But we did have the return of the Mondasian Cybermen, which is absolutely perfect. And the fact that really the Master becomes a second fiddle to the Master, it's the Cybermen, instead of basically the Cybermen being a second fiddle to the Master, like we see in Power of the Doctor, Dark Water and Death in Heaven, and of course Association of the Cybermen and the Timeless Children. So it's actually quite nice to see the Cybermen get a little bit more love, and I would love to see that a bit more in modern Doctor Who, instead of them just becoming like a little fiddle to the Master. I really would. In number 3, we have basically Earthshock. So for a very, very long time, Earthshock was my number 1 favourite Cyberman story. But 2 stories have took its place because they are absolutely brilliant and I absolutely love them. Earthshock, it is the best story for the Cybermen from basically the 1980s. Even though it is the best one, I still love another one above it. I love the fact the Cybermen return after an 8-year rest in the story. And of course, when you see them reveal, we didn't know the Cybermen were returning. And when you see them reveal, and they literally go, "Destroy them! Destroy them at once!" I really love that cliffhanger, I really do. And then of course when you go, "A TARDIS, a Time Lord. They are forbidden to interfere. This one calls himself the Doctor and does nothing else but interfere." And I love the fact we have clips from Hartnell, Troughton and Baker rolled into it as well, which is absolutely brilliant. "Emotion, love, pride, hate, fear. Do you have no emotion, my dear sir?" I love that when they literally cut to Troughton, they got his clip from, I think it's from the Wheel in Space, where he goes, "I imagine you had orders to destroy me. You know our ways, you must be destroyed." And I really love Tom Baker's speech because "You got no home planet, you blooming snockins. You're just a pathetic bunch of tin soldiers looking at a galaxy in an ancient spaceship." I really love that. I love the fact they literally bring the clips into it as well. And I love the song as well because really it shows you how menacing they are when they're trying to get their goal and destroy Earth. And I really love the fact basically the freighter gets sent back in time to the dinosaur time as well and basically blow up. So basically the freighter is the asteroid, the meteor that hit and killed the dinosaurs. I really love it, and the Cybermen are brilliant. I absolutely love the story. It's fantastic. Number 2, we have my second favourite Cybermen episode, and that is of course Attack of the Cybermen from season 22. Now I absolutely love this one. I have done a review recently on this story, so I'm not really going to dive into it, but I flipping love this story. I love the fact it is a sequel and a prequel. It is a prequel to the 10th Planet, and it is a sequel to The Invasion and the Tomb of the Cybermen. It's just a flat out amazing story. Absolutely brilliant, fantastic. I love the Cryons. Colin Baker's performance is brilliant. I love the fact the Cybermen are more menacing here than they actually have been, including the ones from Earthshock. They seem more menacing in this story because they want to try and fiddle with the laws of time, to try and stop the home planet Mundus from being destroyed. And of course, basically Colin Baker having that big meltdown because the Time Lord sent him. I just love this story. It's brilliant. It's just fantastic and amazing. I absolutely love Attack of the Cybermen. Which means we now go into number 1, my all-time favourite Cyberman story. It is The Invasion from Season 6. I absolutely love The Invasion. Now, the Cybermen don't really come into it until round about the finale of Episode 4 where they come out the sewers. But flipping out, I love The Invasion. It's just a great Cyberman story. Even though we meet the Cyber Planet in this story, it's the second story to have the Cyber Planet. It's absolutely brilliant. I just absolutely flat out love it. It's brilliant. It's amazing. I can't say any more about it because I've already done a review on The Invasion over a year ago. So I will try and put the link in the description down below for it. But yeah, I actually do quite enjoy The Invasion. It's a brilliant story. I might put the link in the actual comments section so you can go and see my review on basically The Invasion and Attack of the Cybermen. So that is basically me ranking all of the Cybermen stories from 1966 to 2022. So, will the Cybermen return with Ncuti Gatwa? I hope so. I really love to see the 15th Doctor against the Cybermen. The fact we had no recurring villains in basically Season 40, aka Season 1 or Series 14, it's absolutely brilliant. But I would love to see the return of the Cybermen. Not in Season 2, but hopefully, or should I say Season 41, hopefully in Season 42, if the third season with Ncuti Gatwa ever gets announced. I've got a feeling it will be. So yeah, let me know in the comments, what do you think of this and how do you rank the Cyberman stories? Let me know. And I was going to include the cameo stories, but it's not really fair to add cameo stories of the Cybermen into a Cyberman ranking list. So thank you for watching, and please try not to get converted as a Cyberman.